My dad said, "You'll understand one day." I already do. When I was a kid, I thought he was cold. He'd come home tired, drop his bag, and eat in silence while Mom tried to fill the air with small talk. If I got a bad grade, he didn't yell. He'd just sigh and say, "You can do better." When I cried about friends or heartbreak, he'd mutter, "Life goes on." I used to hate that. I wanted him to be softer, more like Mom. She'd hug me and tell me I was special. He'd just nod and remind me to be practical. I thought he didn't care. But now I'm 30, with 2 kids and bills that seem to multiply overnight. Every night I drag myself home from work, my shirt soaked in sweat, my head buzzing with numbers and deadline. My son runs to me, asking if I can play. My daughter waves a crayon drawing. I smile, but I can't always stay in that moment. My mind drifts to rent, groceries, the broken water heater, and whether my boss noticed I was late again. I hear myself say, "Give Dad 5 minutes," and it hits me. I sound exactly like him. I used to think his quiet meant indifference. Now I see it was exhaustion, the weight of trying to be a stable presence in a chaotic world. He never explained it because he didn't have the words. He showed up every single day, no matter how hard it got. I remember the nights he fell asleep on the couch in his work clothes, the mornings he left before sunrise. I didn't understand why he didn't say "I love you" often, but he did, through full gas tanks, fixed bikes, packed lunches, and the sound of his boots leaving for work before dawn. When Mom got sick, he was there every minute, holding her hand until the end. And after she passed, I finally saw the tears he'd been holding back all those years. That night, he said, "You'll understand one day." He was right. I understand now that love isn't always loud or poetic. Sometimes it's just staying when it's easier to leave, working when no one says thank you, and holding your pain so your kids don't have to. I used to resent his silence. Now, I mirror it, quietly making sure my family never feels the fear I once saw in his eyes. It's strange, the way life loops back. Every bill I pay, every tired goodnight kiss, every unspoken "I love you" feels like a conversation between us, one that started years ago and finally makes sense. Sometimes when I sit in my car outside the house after a long day, I just close my eyes and breathe, remembering him doing the same. The soft creak of the front door, the faint smell of oil and soap, the sound of the TV murmuring from the living room. It's all still there in my mind. He never had hobby, never traveled, never complained. His joy came from seeing us okay. I used to think that kind of life was sad. Now I understand it was his version of love, quiet and steadfast. The world teaches you that love is supposed to be fireworks, passion, grand gestures. But my dad loved like the ground, solid, unseen, always holding us up. Last week, my son fell off his bike. He cried, scraped his knee, and looked at me for comfort. I wanted to panic, to scoop him up, but instead, I knelt down, brushed off the dirt, and said softly, "You're okay, bud. Life goes on." He sniffled, nodded, and got back on. And that's when I heard my dad's voice in my own. It wasn't harsh. It was love disguised as strength. I used to think I was nothing like him. Now, I hope I am. Because every time I put my kids to bed, tired but present, I realize he gave me the blueprint for being a man, not through lectures or advice, but through the quiet persistence of showing up. So, Dad, if somehow you can hear me, I understand now. And I hope one day, when my own son becomes a father, he'll whisper the same words to his kids and finally feel what I feel right now.